توقف الاستيطان ما ضلش في أرض.
Everybody talks about occupation and settlement, and this is something which does not correspond with the truth. You know, settlement, the conflict predated settlement. Settlement started only after the war of 1967. Before 1967, Israel was not in possession of the West Bank or Gaza, and still there was no peace.
We want the borders of 1967.
גבולות 67 זה גבולות אושוויץ. לגבולות 67 לא תהיה חזרה. חזרנו לגבולות 67 ברצועת עזה. חזרנו לגבולות 67 בלבנון, ותראי מה קרה. אף אחד לא מוכן להסכים לזה יותר.
We are the only people worldwide that is still under occupation.
Israel's presence in the West Bank is the result of a war of self-defense. The West Bank should not be considered occupied because there was no previous legal sovereign in the area. And therefore, the real definition should be disputed territory.
الدولة اليهودية. إيش دولة اليهودية؟ إحنا بنقول دولة إسرائيل. سموا حالكم أنتوا اللي بدكم إياه. سموا حالكم اللي بدكم إياه، أما أنا بقبلش.
We would expect the Palestinians to recognize Israel as the homeland of the Jewish people or as a Jewish state. Now, we need here a reciprocity. We have recognized and respected the right of the Palestinians for self-determination. We would like them to accord us nothing more, but nothing less.
Well, East Jerusalem, ladies and gentlemen, is a territory, Palestinian territory that was occupied in 1967. A lot was said and has been said about Jerusalem, for sure, including the fact that it is a permanent status issue. Nothing that's been said about Jerusalem contradicts the historical fact that East Jerusalem is an integral part of Palestinian territory occupied in 1967.
We have to remember that Jerusalem has never been under any sovereign nation but Israel, starting with King David and King Solomon and later Jewish rulers. Jerusalem for us is where we started as a nation. Jerusalem for us is a sacred place which symbolizes the holiness of our faith and closeness to God.
I cannot come to the people and say I've compromised on the 1967 borders or refugees or Jerusalem. I would not bear that. And the proof is that we did not sign a peace deal with Israel in Camp David because the proposed agreement entailed compromises that neither Yasser Arafat nor anyone else could tolerate.
And I hope that we will see also a Palestinian leadership that would depart from a historic approach of all or nothing that they have been taking.
We have expressed our readiness to take part in serious negotiations and we responded to the international mediation and efforts, but we received nothing from the Israeli government.
We are the ones that paid major down payments without getting anything in return. We helped create a Palestinian Authority in the West Bank on 42%. We already gave them 42% of the West Bank. We gave them 100% of Gaza. We took down settlements in Gaza in the disengagement in 2005. We supplied them with arms. We helped them economically. And this is before we talk about the final status agreement.
The status of Palestinian refugees will remain unchanged until a comprehensive final solution is reached.
Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser explained the effect of this weapon aimed at overwhelming Israel demographically, with generations of refugees cultivated to hate. Quote, "If the refugees return to Israel, Israel will cease to exist."
in my capacity as President of the State of Palestine and Chairman of the Executive Committee of the Palestine Liberation Organization, submitted to His Excellency Mr. Ban Ki-moon, Secretary General of the United Nations, an application for the admission of Palestine on the basis of the borders of June 4th, 1967, with Al-Quds al-Sharif as its capital, as a full member of the United Nations. This is a copy of the application.
It's very unfortunate that the Palestinians, instead of coming to the table and negotiate with us, just like they did in South Sudan, and the President gave it in his speech, is a perfect example of how things should be done. You iron out all the differences on the ground between the parties, and then you take it to the UN for endorsement. You cannot put the whole process top down, because then it's just a mess. Not just for our conflict with the Palestinians, but also it could be a bad precedent for other conflicts throughout the world. So we still hope that the Palestinians would come to the table. You know, Carol, there's nothing better that I would like than to join the Palestinians together, Israel and Palestinians together, come to the UN for endorsement of a peace treaty and for welcoming Palestine to the UN. But we have to do it after we finished all the agreement.